Thanks for joining me. Welcome to a restorative flow for the spine and hips. You'll probably want a few props for today. You can get a block if you have 2 blocks or something similar. That's going to be even better for today. And perhaps a blanket or a pillow or a bolster, whatever you have available. So we're going to get started on our back in Supta Baddha Konasana, which is when the feet are together, the knees are out wide, and you can lie down on your back. Take your time, nice and easy, getting down there. And once you're on your back, tuck the shoulder blades under slightly. Let your feet kind of inch forward towards your hips as much as you can. And then disengage through the hips, through the legs, and let the knees fall heavy towards the floor. If this is too much for your hips, you can just let your legs go long, or you can even put your blocks or blanket underneath your legs as a support there. Just allow the arms to be alongside the body with the palms open to the sky. Check in with the back of the neck. Perhaps you pick up the head, tuck the chin under to lengthen through the back of the neck, allowing the spine to be nice and long along the mat. And allow the eyes to close. Allow the face to soften. Beginning to bring awareness to the rhythm of your breath. And just noticing as you fill up on the inhale, where you feel the space, the expansion happening within the body. Maybe you notice that contact against the earth that your back body has. And just allow yourself to find complete stillness, resisting any urge to fidget. Just trusting in the ground to hold you, to support you. Let yourself be heavy. Let yourself be held. And just noticing the shoulders be heavy towards the earth as the front of the heart space opens to the sky and the collarbone is broad. And just allowing that space in the front of the chest to expand and rise to the sky as you take a deep inhale. And just continue to travel through your physical being with each inhale. As the breath enters into the body, follow with the breath and just explore every nook and cranny within the body, opening up more spaces that may feel tense or tight. Maybe even imagining this inhale traveling all the way past the belly button and expanding through the pelvis and the hips, letting any resistance release, letting the knees fall heavier to the earth. bring one hand to your belly, the other hand to your heart. Spread the fingers wide, continue to be soft, and release through the shoulders and arms. And just breathe 3 deep belly breaths. Slow the breath down. Feel into the rhythm of your body. The rise and fall, the heartbeat. And gently rock your head side to side, massaging the back of your skull on the earth. Very slow. Find nice length in the neck as you turn your head one way. And just moving with your breath, slowing the breath down, slowing the movement. Coming to center in the head. Bring your palms to the outer edges of the thighs. Take your time to gently draw the knees together and let the feet come flat on the mat. Let the knees come together. Wiggle walk your feet to the edges of your mat. Bring your hands back to your heart and your belly. Take a couple more deep breaths here. Bring your arms out to the sides like you're opening your arms up like wings of a bird. If you don't have enough space, like I'm hitting the wall here, you can just bend your elbows, let your arms become like cactuses with that 90-degree angle in the elbows. Lift your knees to the chest, drawing them together to the chest. So you take an inhale here, fill up with breath. So you exhale very slowly, drop the knees to the right. Try and keep the knees together. Both shoulder blades stay grounded. Don't let that left shoulder blade lift. Use your inhale, bring the knees back up to center. Exhale, they fall to the left. Slow and controlled. Inhale to center. Exhale to the right. Soften the fingers, the head. Inhale to center. Exhale. One more round. Inhale, bring them to center. Exhale, release the feet back to the mat, inching and tucking the heels as close to the glutes as you can get them. Plant the feet flat and extend the arms long, palms face the earth. Inhale, lift the hips to the sky, bridge pose. Keep that length in the back of the neck. Keep your chin a bit active from the chest. Let there be a space in the throat. Really pressing through the feet. See if you can release your glute muscles all together. Continue to hold your knees in midline to the body, together energetically. Breathe deeply. As you exhale, very slowly bring one vertebra of the spine to the earth at a time. Very slowly releasing your back body down to the mat. And again, bring the knees to touch, space the feet as wide as the mat. One hand to belly, one hand to heart. Take a deep inhale. Exhale it out. hug your knees into your chest. Wrap around for opposite elbows. Give yourself a tight embrace. Maybe you gently rock side to side. Coming into stillness, begin to rock up and down along the spine. Just massaging the spine on the mat, rounding your back as much as you can. Be gentle and careful of your neck. Build up enough momentum to find your way up to a seat with the legs crossed. So here in easy pose, you can sit up on a blanket if you'd like. If you have your blanket folded or a small pillow, you can bring it behind you and lift your seat just to be a little more gentle on the knees. And then you can have your legs crossed however you'd like. Easy pose. We want to work the heels toward the midline in alignment with the navel at the center of the body. Grow tall through the spine and just soften the shoulders, soften the face. With a deep inhale, lift to the top of the head. As you exhale, allow your chest to come forward, sprinkle the fingers down, and walk your hands out for a forward fold. And just see if you can keep this length in the spine. Each inhale, imagining the top of the head drawing up and away from the tailbone. And as you exhale, just soften forward, soften through the heart. Try and avoid rounding the spine or the shoulders too much. And if you want to come down to the forearms, that's a nice option. You can also use your block and bring your forearms to the block to support you. Let the forehead be bowed to the earth, but be gentle on the neck as you let it hang heavy. Maybe you use the block for your forehead. We'll take another deep inhale here. Exhale it out. Inhale, lift the head back up, lifting the shoulders over the hips. Plant the hands behind your hips, fingertips face towards you. Uncross the legs, plant the feet hip width distance. Press into the hands, into the feet. Inhale, lift the hips. Inverted table. Lift the chin. Exhale, slowly release the seat back down. Come to your other side. So opposite leg comes in front in your easy pose. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, gently fold forward. Try and keep that contact of both sit bones down to the mat or to the blanket as you fold forward. So even though our weight has that direction of moving forward, stay anchored in your seats, breathing, filling up with each inhale. Letting yourself become heavy, soft, and relaxed on your exhale. Inhale, lift the chest. Unwind the legs and find your way to a tabletop. Onto hands and knees. You can use your blanket here again as a nice support for your knees, but let it be a little flat so it's not too puffy above the earth. So in your tabletop position, stack the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees, untuck your toes, spread your fingers as wide as you can, and a few cat-cows here. Inhale to lift the tailbone, lift the chin. Exhale to round the spine, tuck the chin. And just allow your eyes to close. Let your breath lead the movement. And just notice different areas of the body. Softening through the jaw, the tongue, the brow. And just check in with your mind, with the quality of your thoughts. thoughts. Maybe you've chosen an intention or a single word or thought to focus on, to meditate upon as we breathe and move slowly and as we seep into stillness. Feel free to liberate this movement if your body wants some more circular motion through the rib cage or the hips. Just give yourself the freedom to follow the sensations within your body and to move accordingly, to move in a way that's loving and gentle to self. Allowing yourself to ease up on any stress or tension that you're holding within the physical body, within the mind, within the heart. And on your next inhale, come to a flat back neutral alignment. So for this one, you may want your block right under your forehead. Keep your hips right where they are above your knees. Try not to let your hips move forward or back. So nice and stacked. And begin to sink your chest down as you reach the fingers forward, puppy pose. So your palms face down, let your fingers slide forward. Your forehead can come onto the block. Or if you can reach, forehead comes all the way down to the mat. And just breathe gently through the shoulders, gently opening the upper back. If your forehead is on the floor and you want to go a bit deeper, you can slowly lift your gaze up towards your fingers, let the chin come to the mat. This activates those deep muscles through the back of the neck. But don't go too far. You'll know if you've gone too far if you lose the depth in your breath. Another full inhale here. Exhale to let it go. Inhale, lift the chest, walk the hands back under the shoulders, nice and slow. Tuck all 10 toes under and lift your hips up and back for a downward facing dog. And just be gentle here, maybe you pedal the heels out slowly, lengthening one leg long at a time. Be mindful of your hands, gentle on the wrist. Press through the entire hand, the entire palm, knuckles, and fingertips. Using your hand to really allow that stress to come out of the wrists. You can shift your hip side to side, shift your head gently, yes, no. And take your time to find stillness here. Really imagining that beautiful oxygen-rich breath coming into the lungs, spiraling down the spine, washing through the backs of the legs. On your next inhale, lift the right leg to the sky. The heel leads it up. As you exhale, giant step through this right foot. Step it outside of your right hand on the pinky edge. So it comes onto the edge of your yoga mat. You're in a nice, tall lizard lunge here. We're going to stay high on our back toes to start. Plant that left hand firmly. Inhale, lift the right fingers to the sky. Taking a gentle twist here. Really reach actively through those top fingers and press away through your bottom shoulder. Rather than dumping your weight here, really activate, press away, keep those hips lifted. Keep that deep bend in that right knee. Full inhale. Exhale, release this right hand back down. And then shift your weight forward and back, coming high on those back toes, sinking the heel towards the earth. Just getting a little movement, waking up the hips. And come to center, release your back knee, untuck your back toe for a lizard lunge. So we're going to stay wide in this right foot. You can keep this right foot planted and just sink your hips forward. Sometimes it's nice to use the block here to rest the forearms and allow the top body to become a little more released. And just letting all of the energy within your body be within the force of the breath. There's always an option here to come onto the pinky edge, blade edge of your right foot. Let the knee go wide, let the big toe lift to get even wider within the hips. And if you can reach your forearms all the way to the earth, that's another good option. Use the block instead for the forehead. Wherever you go, move with the breath, staying connected to that rhythm. Staying still within the mind. Powerful within the thought. And even if the sensation within the physical body is intense here, see if you can match that intensity with the strength of the breath. Always being careful, you know your own limit. There's a fine line between where we're just uncomfortable and it becomes an intense hip opener versus actually harming ourselves and causing real pain. So be mindful of that at any point. If it's crossing that line, back out of the pose, go into a child's pose, and take some deep belly breaths. In these restorative poses, we have all the muscles disengaged. We're about 70% to our edge. So we're not pushing it too far. We're really in that space where we can breathe deeply and remain calm for an extended period of time. Really just opening the body and listening to all that it has to say. Take one more deep inhale here. Complete exhale. If you're on the block, bring the palms back under the shoulders. Release the block out in front of you. As you exhale, shift the hips back, straightening this front right knee, and wiggle walk this foot to the center of your mat. So now we're in a nice half split. Lift those right toes so that right foot is flexed. And notice my hips are still directly over that back knee. If you're kind of back here, you can just slide your front heel forward so you get that nice vertical line through the top of your left leg. If you need your blocks to reach the earth, you can put 2 blocks, one under both hands. Soften the shoulders away from the ears, lengthen the spine, inhale. As you exhale, lead with the heart as you fold over this leg. Again, avoid rounding the spine, rounding the shoulders. Soft face, breathe deeply. right knee, plant that right foot. Moving into our pigeon pose, wiggle walk this right foot now to the left edge of the mat. Maybe the foot comes towards your hips a bit more so that you can recline the shin across. So this part for the blanket, you might want to take it out, get it a little bit more folded up. It's a great place to put under this right thigh to keep your right thigh lifted. We want to avoid sitting on the side of our thigh. Keep that hip lifted so both hips, left and right, are in level with one another. You might need to adjust it to get it to the right height for you. So that's a really nice spot. You can have your block again on the tallest level to start. Untuck those back toes if they're not already. Keep those back toes nice and relaxed. Use your exhales to fold forward. Come to the forearms, bring your forehead to the block, or continue to release closer to the earth. Maybe you stack your hands as a pillow. And just allow yourself to be as heavy and relaxed as possible. Noticing when the mind drifts off, gets distracted. With patience, just always checking in, noticing where the mind is at, and bringing it back to the focus of the breath, to the focus of your intention. And just watching your mind, watching the sensations in your body like you're watching a movie. Staying anchored in your breath and just being the witness. Strong waves of physical tension or even emotion are really common in this hip opener. So whatever comes up for you, just let it be there. Just acknowledge the way that you feel here and breathe deeply into it. So just sitting with those sensations, sitting with those emotions, letting them fully be felt, fully be expressed. Checking in with the jaw. Notice if you begin to clench at any point, and just stay soft. Allow the entire rib cage to expand in every direction as you fill up. And just be willing to let something go on each exhale. And take a full inhale. Exhale it out. Bring your palms under the shoulders. Very slowly, mindfully lift the chest back up. Tuck your back left toe under. Maybe scoot it forward a little bit. Use your core strength to lift this right leg all the way up and back to your three-leg dog. So the hips are lifted, the heel is lifted. You can bend the knee and just circle your leg around in any direction, releasing any stiffness. Taking your time to settle your foot back down into downward facing dog. Take a full inhale. Exhale it out. Inhale, the left leg rises to the sky. Exhale, giant step to the pinky edge of that left hand. Coming to the edge of your mat, nice wide stance. Staying lifted to start, making sure you have a nice deep 90-degree bend in this left knee. Your knee is stacked directly over your heel. Press firmly through that right hand. Press away through the shoulder. Lift the left fingers to the sky. Let your gaze follow up to the ceiling. High on the back toes. Breathe. Drawing the shoulder blades together. As you inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, release the left hand back under the shoulder and just rock your weight forward and back. Nice and slow. Come into stillness, drop your back knee, untuck toes. You can put your blanket under that knee if you need the extra support. Keeping this left foot wide, lizard lunge. If you need the block, you can always put your hands on the block. This can be intense, especially if you're cold, you haven't warmed up. You can feel a little more stiff. So give yourself the props and the support that you need to relax the shoulders, relax through the hips, through the legs. And just lower and get deeper as it feels good and as you have the space and as you create the space within the container of the body. These restorative poses really teach us a lot of patience. Finding stillness in poses can often be a lot more challenging than a vigorous flow where we're in constant motion. When we're in the stillness and we really take the time to breathe into the body, we're forced to face whatever we've been holding. Even if we're not realizing what we have within, sometimes when we become still for the first time with the hips open like this, we can deal with frustration, anger, anxiety, stress. Sometimes we even cry or have just intense emotions come up. And that's the healing practice of this. Especially when we're not warm within the body, when we're cold, we aren't working with the big muscle tissues within the body. Rather, we're getting into the fascia. And the fascia is this thin layer of tissue that wraps every muscle, every organ within the body. It's very thin tissue, it's like saran wrap, but it can hold a lot of pain receptors, it can hold a lot of intense tightness or tension within the muscle. And really when we're doing superficial stretches for only a couple seconds through a flow, we're not opening the body to its fullest potential. So yin yoga, restorative practice, where we really take a few minutes in each pose, we're opening the body and increasing our flexibility, really creating space within that fascia, and we release a whole lot just from that one little layer of tissue within the body. So the best thing you can do, regardless of how you're feeling within your being, is to stay focused on the breath, to remember that it's only temporary when it gets really intense, but to also back out if you need to be gentle and loving to the body. Wherever you are here, slowly bring the palms under the shoulders, release your block out in front of you. As you exhale, shift the hips back. So this right hip is directly over that right knee. Wiggle walk your left foot to the center of your mat. Bring that left hand on the other side of it. This left leg is pretty straight. Pick up the toes, flex that foot. So again, we're doing this nice half split where we're lengthening the back of the left leg. If you need the block under the hands, you can go ahead and do that so you can soften through the shoulders rather than reaching or scrunching for the floor. Try and keep that top body nice and released. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale to gently hinge and fold over, avoiding rounding the spine, nice and long. Lead with the heart towards the knee rather than the nose. This foot is energetic. You're really pointing those toes towards your face so that you're not just opening the hamstring, but you're getting all the way through the back of the knee, the back of the calf. On your next inhale, plant that foot, bend through that left knee, and pivot your left foot to the right edge of your mat, coming up, untucking that top foot to recline the shin for pigeon. So again, you want to lengthen long through your right toes. You might want to look back and just make sure that that right leg is straight away from the hip. It's not at a diagonal angle at all. If you want to put your blanket or a pillow under this left hip, go ahead and prop your hip up that way. And take your time to settle. Let the hips settle into the shape. As you exhale, it's an invitation to get deeper. Using the breath, melt towards the earth. Maybe you just ask yourself, what are you willing to let go of? As adults, we become really good at attaching to things in our life, things happening in our external world outside of ourselves. We accumulate all of these things as we grow up. And in this gripping, often we lose sight of how to let go and how to simply just detach from everything around us. It truly is an art to let go, to surrender. An art which requires a lot of trust. A lot of trust in just faith in the universe. Trust that everything is always happening for us and that everything comes to us within divine timing. That we can really trust even when things don't make sense or things seem to turn us upside down and shake us. It really is allowing us to step into the best versions of ourselves. It's really allowing us to grow and to learn so that we can evolve and so that we can eventually become exactly that we desire we be. So what are you willing to let go of? And can you trust? And take a full inhale. Exhale to let it go. Inhale very slowly, lift the chest, bring the palms under the shoulders. Tuck your left toe under, maybe scoot it forward a bit. Sweep this left leg up and back to three-leg dog. Shake out that leg however feels good for you to release the stiffness from the hip. Taking your time to come back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, glide forward into your high plank, stack the shoulders over the wrists, level out through the hips, lower knees and forearms, extend out onto your belly, Sphinx pose. So our forearms are parallel, hands are flat to the earth, stack the shoulders over the elbows, untuck your toes and draw the toes together to the midline of the body. Notice the back of the neck. Bring your gaze to the earth to lengthen through the back of the neck and just gently, energetically draw the elbows back, imagining the sternum, the heart center coming forward through the biceps, lengthening through the spine, gently opening the heart. Take a full inhale. Exhale it out. Lift your hips back up, come onto your knees, and shift your hips back to a child's pose on the back of towards your hips. Allow your fingers to come towards your toes. Collapse the shoulders over and around the knees. Forehead makes contact with the mat. And just gently rock the forehead side to side. Very slowly inhale and begin to roll the spine up, stacking one vertebrae up at a time. Let the head and shoulders be heavy. Bring your hands together to the heart space, pressing thumbs to heart, heart to thumbs. Take a full inhale. Let it go. Thank you for sharing this practice with me. Namaste.